Alright, so I'm about to finish the third book in the Pretty Little Liars series, and I started reading it before I started my book talk, so I'm just going to give like a little summary of the first two books before I post my video about the book when I finally finish it tonight. So I actually watched the Pretty Little Liars series on TV whenever it was on. And I really enjoyed it, and I always wanted to read the books, but I just never did. So I decided I finally wanted to read it because I rewatched it probably more like 2 years ago now. But and I also have in my one of my book groups when I asked about the Pretty Little Liars series. They told me that the first three is going to be pretty similar to season 1 of Pretty Little Liars, and so far they've been right. Because, like, in the first book, it's where the girls are introduced. You get introduced to Allison's story. The summer after 7th grade, before 8th grade, they had a sleepover, and then Allison and Spencer got in a fight, and then Allison just went missing. No one's heard from her. And it's just a big mystery, and that friend group totally fell apart. So the first book follows, of course, the 4 girls, and they're getting these mysterious text messages with things that only Allison knew. Okay, so that's what the weird thing is about it, is that this A person knows all their secrets from middle school that supposedly only Allie would know. And so they're thinking they're coming from Allie, but how can they come from Allie if she is dead, right? So that's the big mystery behind the whole series. So, of course, now they're like, I think, sophomores. So, Aria, her family had moved to Iceland after they found out that her dad was having an affair with one of his students. He was a college professor at the college at their place. And he had an affair with a student, and they ended up moving to Iceland after Allie disappeared, and now they're back. And it's hard for her to adjust being back, and with Allison's news breaking out, and of course, Aria. Spoiler if you haven't read this book or watched the TV series, but Aria and Ezra, which when I watched this series, I was like really for it because I thought Ezra was cute, and I think Lucy Hale that played Aria is really cute too. But now that I'm like almost 30 and thinking about it, I'm like, that's really gross. So it's funny how your perspective changes from like a teenager and when you get older. But yeah, that's going on. And Spencer is being Spencer and stressing about school and wanting to get straight A's, but she's also fighting with Melissa, her sister, and still Melissa's boyfriend, Ren. He basically is like into her too and ruins that. Let's see who else. Hannah is back in middle school, was really chubby, and now Hannah is super skinny, and she is now the popular girl, especially now that Allie's gone, because Allie was the popular girl and Hannah wasn't. And now Hannah's the it girl with her new friend Mona, and Mona was also like Hannah, who was chubbier in middle school and got made fun of a lot. They called her Loser Mona. And now they're the it girls, and they're running everything, but they're also like shoplifting and getting in trouble. So Hannah gets caught shoplifting. Her mom takes care of it, and by that she means she fucks the police officer. So that's fun. And there's also Emily, who is a closeted gay at the time. She doesn't know that she's gay, where she has like, she knows she likes girls, but she's not sure like what that means about her. And she's like discovering herself, and then a cute girl moves into Allie's old house named Maya, and so she kind of falls for Maya the same way that she fell for Allie. And it's like really sweet but kind of creepy at the same time because there's a lot of similarities between the two. But they all start to come back together at Allie's funeral because they think they have found Allie's body in the backyard under a gazebo that was being built at the time. Now, in book 2, that one is called Flawless, and if I didn't mention this, I don't think I did, but the author's name is Sarah Shepard. But in the second book, this is where Toby comes in. Now, I'm going to be talking about in a different video differences like in the characters of the books versus the TV show. But there was one difference in the second book compared to the TV show that really shocked me. And that was that Toby comes in this book, but this is also the only book he's in. So, again, spoilers if you haven't done either read or watched, but the girls, when they were in middle school, did something pretty bad where they were going to pull a prank on this girl named Jenna, and they lit a firework inside of the treehouse, and the firework, of course, like blew up, and Jenna ended up becoming blind, and so they called it the Jenna thing, and they've kept it a secret always. And Allie's the one that lit the firework, and Allie saw Toby doing something to Jenna that was not appropriate, and so she basically like threatened him to like take the blame for it, but none of the girls knew that other than Spencer. So like that's the thing about Allie. Allie had her secrets, but she also knew everyone else's secrets and had them keep secrets. So like no one truly knew the whole story of like anything, like ever. So in the second book, this is where Hannah starts to binge eat again because she's like really upset about how things are going with her at home and with her boyfriend, Sean, at the time. Sean just doesn't really want to seem to have sex with her, which they're both virgins and she wants to lose her virginity, and Hannah ends up showing off and out and stealing Sean's car in the first book because he breaks up with her. And she doesn't like that. So she got drunk and stole his car and ended up wrecking it. And now she's having to do community service in the second book. And she also reconnects with her dad after a long time. And her dad promises her a daddy-daughter day, but then come to find out he brought in his new girlfriend and his stepdaughter, and the stepdaughter is like not very good, like not like nice. She's not a nice person. She's kind of a bitch. And Hannah hasn't talked to them forever, but she ends up giving Kate, the stepdaughter, so her stepsister, a pill, and her dad finds it and gets pretty mad at her and like doesn't talk to her anymore, which is sad. But anyways, Emily befriends Toby because they're at a swim meet together, and that's another difference is in the the TV series, Toby ends up going back to the school, Rosewood, but in the books, he's at a different school, but in swimming, and so him and Emily reconnect through swimming, and Emily's trying really hard to prove that she's not gay, and that her and Maya aren't kissing at Noah Cohn's party, and so she decides to go to Foxy with Toby, and with Toby coming back and reminding everyone of the Jenna thing, they thought it was a weird coincidence that Toby and Jenna end up showing up whenever they're getting messages from A, so they start to suspect Toby. And I think the biggest shocker is, again, spoiler, is that Toby commits suicide because he thinks that all the girls know about him touching Jenna, when Emily only said that she knew about the Allie thing, and yeah, that just really surprised me because I loved Toby in the TV series, and Toby is like literally all throughout the TV series. He's not just in the second episode, like he's in all seasons. I guess in my research that I did, I guess the audience loved Toby so much that they kept him around because it boosted ratings, which I'm kind of glad they did, because again, I liked Toby, but I guess it really does like change the whole dynamic of what happens, and I'm interested to read the rest of the books to see. Arya's life is falling apart because she didn't do what A wanted, and A told Arya's mom. Well, first, Arya and Mike, her little brother, saw her dad and Meredith, the student, at the university or at a bar or something, and they're still seeing each other basically now that he's back from Iceland. And A told Arya's mom that Arya's known since before they left for Iceland that this was happening, and so Ella is mad at Arya and basically like shuts Arya out of her life, which is pretty shitty as a parent, even if it is kind of fucked up what she did. And Spencer's still trying to be with Ren, but he's acting really weird and like not messaging her back, and they end up breaking up. And Ian, who is her sister's old boyfriend that she also kissed, shows back up, which is interesting. And Spencer's parents are so mad at her for getting with Ren that they like basically like cut off her cards, like cut her out of their life until she does something else that will make them proud. But this is kind of a long video, and I'm sorry, and I'm sure I rambled and maybe it doesn't all make sense, but those were summaries of the first two books, and I'm really enjoying the series because I love mystery books, but I also really enjoyed the TV series, so I loved seeing the comparisons. But yeah, anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, guys.